This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're gonna acknowledge me.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another main event review. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's episode. Today we're going to be reviewing Clash in Paris since it's a PLE week, and also the matches that have occurred on main event as well. So really excited to get this one out for you guys. Clash in Paris was pretty standard PLE. I was quite impressed with sort of my predictions, to be honest. No AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio, they didn't make it on the card from what I said in my last review, so I was wrong about that. They're going to go up against each other tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, so we'll look out for that. And I didn't get the chance to review the match between the Street Profits and also Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch. I would have said that both retained, but again, that wasn't put on the pod, so I'm not going to claim those as correct predictions, but everything else was sort of impressed with my predictions there. I think I got everything right to begin with. However, I don't know, for some reason, because the matches were at 4 a.m. my time, given that it was in Paris, for some reason I accidentally stumbled on a tweet where I swear I thought Jey Uso won the title and that I ruined Clash in Paris for me and that I wasn't going to be able to enjoy the finish. But I was wrong, and I was so glad I was wrong, because in my head I was thinking, how the hell are they going to give Jey Uso the title back? But anyway, that's unrealistic. It must have been in my dreams, but yeah, that's the only thing I sort of want to talk about before we get into it. But we'll make a start with main event first. This main event was actually filmed before SmackDown's episode, which was located in Dublin, Ireland. And at first I thought, when I was looking into the thumbnail, I saw Sheamus there. I was like, why is he on there? But it made total sense. It gave the opportunity for Lyra Valkyria, who was on the card, and Sheamus to come home and sort of, come for a homecoming, because they're obviously Raw superstars and this was a SmackDown show, but it allowed for them to sort of make an appearance to their home crowd, which was quite awesome to see. Obviously, Becky Lynch made it on the SmackDown card, and she did a fantastic job there with that heel heat. But we'll get into the first match with Lyra Valkyria. A pretty decent reception for her. She takes on Kairi Sane, and she gets the victory here in a pretty quick match, to be honest. I think that it was obvious that Lyra was going to get the victory, but in terms of her storyline at the moment, it's quite stale. I suppose that it's got something to do with Bayley. They might have a feud moving forward, or there's something going on with those two that are going to kind of carry this over. While Kairi Sane's in the middle of a pretty intense storyline with Io Sky. Now, she's looking to be sort of the mediator at the moment between Asuka and Io Sky, where there's tensions there. But it seems as though that Kairi Sane might push towards just sticking up with Asuka and turning on Io Sky there. So it would have been interesting to see her get the win here, given that it would have made sort of that feud propel and make Kairi kind of a little bit more stronger and serious in this feud, with Asuka obviously being the main focal point and Io Sky. It could have really given her momentum to sort of hone into that. But again, Lyra gets the victory here, a home good feeling, and nothing that really impacts storyline, but a pretty decent first match to go, given the two stars are getting a lot of time on Raw at the moment. And yeah, I think for Lyra, I'm just waiting for Bayley to return. It's a bit weird what they're doing with Bayley off topic, but again, we just need her to come back and sort of just address what's going on with her, because it seems like she's battling between two minds, and they're creating a new persona for her. Whether it's a good or bad one, we'll have to wait and see. But again, that's going to happen, and I'm sure Lyra will be heavily involved in that. And then we get the second match. We get Kid Wilson back on. He's taking on Sheamus, who got an unbelievable reception. Simply incredible. Like, you can tell that the Irish fans really love Sheamus. And shout out to one of the guys in the YouTube comments. They did say that this was Sheamus's first main event match since 2012. So 13 years since Sheamus has gone on a main event show. And again, when I saw the thumbnail, I was really excited to watch it because I was like, Sheamus being on a main event is quite rare. And it made sense given that it was in Dublin. He got a massive reception from the fans to a point where he had to get the mic and address the fans, basically saying that he was going to cry, encourage them to do a football chant or sort of chant that basically said, ooh, ah, fella, say, ooh, ah, fella, which was pretty cool, but they got interrupted by Kid Wilson, who was spoiling the party. He came out really aggressive, so again, he's not reflecting what he was with Pretty Deadly, and I think this is something that I really like, and it will surprise a lot of people when the main show, if he ever decides to get on the main show, but he's doing a great job with that new character, and it might go into something when Elton Prince comes back and they might have a feud, I don't know, but it's refreshing to see that he's going into a singles role and he's just looking aggressive and getting that heel heat that works perfectly in this situation, especially with Sheamus being the big babyface here. It didn't matter though in terms of victory. Sheamus was always going to get the victory, and he got it here with the bro kick as well. And that obviously set up the momentum going into the match against Rusev, which we'll talk about, but also that good feel good feeling for those supporters in Ireland. So it's great to see Lyra and Sheamus on the card. Will we see them often? Probably not, but it was a great way to sort of, again, as mentioned, get them on the card to get fans in Dublin, in Ireland, cheering for their hometown heroes, while also not interfering with SmackDown storylines. So that pretty much wraps up main event. So we'll get straight into sort of the reviews there with Clash in Paris. We have Roman Reigns taking on Bronson Reed, and I did predict that Roman Reigns was going to win because Bron Breakker was essentially that first level as part of the vision, and he's the one that's, I think, getting overlooked here. But I think he took a really good loss in a sense that, yes, he lost, but it didn't really diminish his character because of the events that transpired after the bell. And we had Roman Reigns, as I log out of Facebook for some reason, my notifications are on, apologies for that. Roman Reigns gets onto the announce table and tries to cut off his shoes to restore that back. And as he does that, we get Bron Breakker coming out of nowhere and running onto sort of the buckle or the wall between the fans and obviously the room. I don't know what the word, I've lost my mind for that. But jumps onto the announce table and spears Roman Reigns through the table and just sits there looking sadistic, which I really liked. And I really liked that sort of angle and that sort of kind of pan to the camera that they did for Bron Breakker doing that. And then we had him into the ring, spears him again, and that's where the medical staff get the stretchers out and whatnot. And before that, I will mention that Paul Heyman was put into the guillotine, which was quite funny. But at that point, I was like, where is the vision? Are they going to come and stick up for Roman Reigns, for Paul Heyman or not? And that's where Bron Breakker obviously came in, did what he did. And then he was left on a stretcher, and that's where Bronson Reed came out and hit a tsunami. And every time this man hits a tsunami, it's significant. And it's a great finisher. It's what's, I think, transcended him from just being a regular player to a big player, especially after hitting 6 on Seth Rollins. And I love when Bronson Reed just goes up top and just hits tsunami after tsunami after tsunami. And it's great to see an Aussie also going out there and getting big time sort of matches as well. So it's great to see, and that really, again, elevated him and showed him that he's a threat. He's obviously not to the level of Bron Breakker, not to the level of Seth Rollins, but he's definitely someone that can be a future star in this company and basically just wreck everyone on sight. And he proved that again. He hit 2 tsunamis on Roman Reigns while he's in the stretcher, and the Vision just looked on top despite getting the loss there. This obviously will mean, as I predicted, that Roman Reigns will get onto level 2, which is Bron Breakker. Maybe they might push Bron Breakker to get a victory here because they are putting him as the face of the company and also a multi-year WrestleMania main eventer. But we'll have to wait and see. That's sort of where I think Roman Reigns is going to lean to next. And it's been a great excuse for them to sort of put him on a stretcher and make him go out like that, because we obviously all know Roman Reigns' schedule. He's not going to be back for a while now. We've got the new sort of PLE, and I think I called it WrestleTopia or something, and I said it was a terrible name, but it was actually called WrestlePalooza, which is even worse. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the name there. Again, it's an ESPN debut on PLE, so they're going to make it big, and I suspect that Roman Reigns will have a match there, given that it is the first ESPN one. So maybe that's when we'll see him next, maybe a week before that. But again, they've found a way to sort of keep him off the sideline by making it seem as though he's got a big injury. But again, the Vision comes out on top. We go backstage, and Adam Pearce basically kicks both members of the Vision out. And this was done perfectly because, again, I think everyone was thinking before Clash in Paris, they're making this a fatal four-way, but they're not finding a way to sort of interfere. Well, they're not preventing that. Well, Adam Pearce or WWE. It would have made it been so obvious that the Vision would have came out and helped Seth Rollins win this match. So getting them kicked out at the start was a good thing. And when I'm just going to off topic go back to sort of what I said about Jey Uso winning it. When I saw that, I thought that prediction was correct because he had no help, that he would have lost. But again, we know that didn't happen. And yeah, they get kicked out of the building. It was a great way to sort of give us that feeling that Seth Rollins is going to be in trouble and that he's going to have no support. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up that segment, which actually went really long. Like, that was probably the longest opening sort of match if you count entrances, if you count the match itself, and then you count everything that happened. It literally went for an hour, and I was like thinking, man, this is really long. And then when you look at it all up, it did go for a very, very long time. We then get the match to sort of just de-hype the moment of Clash in Paris. It was last minute, didn't expect it. Street Profits taking on the Wyatt Six. I think this match was to sort of create tensions between the Street Profits, and it looks as though they're making a push for Montez Ford to finally become a single superstar, which is something that I think needs to happen. I think they're leaning towards Montez Ford being the main guy. Angelo Dawkins can also be a very good single star as well. But I'm just going to put on the focus on Montez Ford here. He's got the athletic ability, he's got the charisma, he's got the personality. I think he's ready to be a single superstar. And I think the Street Profits have done all they can as a tag team. And even for Angelo Dawkins, it might be a good thing for him to be a solo superstar as well. SmackDown are in good hands with tag teams. And I think with the MFTs coming involved, we might see that feud potentially happening as well as we lean closer towards War Games maybe. But again, that's the one we're waiting for. We're waiting for a faction taking on a faction, and I think that's what they're setting up. So it sort of allows for them to happen. How the split's going to occur is going to be the main question. Will Montez Ford be the heel? Will Angelo Dawkins be the heel? That I have no clue of. I think we'll wait in the coming weeks to see. But you could see that they were sort of teasing it on SmackDown when Bo Dallas, not Uncle Howdy, he is the same thing, but as that character, came and was sort of questioning to see, are they actually really brothers? And that also was shown in the match as well, as they sort of tagged each other in and out. The way the match ended, though, was with Nikki Cross grabbing Montez Ford, and then Uncle Howdy doing the Sister Abigail onto the mat, and then that led to them doing their finisher and getting by them I mean Joey Gacy and Dexter Lumis doing their finisher, and I can't remember the name of it, but they get the victory there and they retain the title, so they continue to be at large and pretty strong. The group is still a little bit stale, but the tag team titles are keeping them sort of relevant. Again, I think we're waiting for someone like MFT to come in, but I think this is all about sort of just fueling the Street Profits sort of eventual split, which is something that we're going to see in the next weeks of SmackDown, and hopefully we get some more clarity on what the goal is. But it was a really good start to that as well. I'm really hoping when they do split, that they really push Montez Ford as well, because I really think he's an excellent athlete and a great superstar as well. We then get the match between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental title. Now, these two have done a great job hyping the match with their promos and whatnot. And the match was pretty good. We had the obvious botch with Nikki Bella, which, look, I think Becky Lynch shouldn't have sold her, but they kind of moved on it pretty quick. So I'm not going to judge them too much on that botch there, but it was very obvious that was a botch. We had Becky Lynch getting the victory, and there seems to be a trend with Becky Lynch getting sort of roll-ups and jackknife covers, and I think she's done another one here. And although people are probably surprised by it, I think it's a good thing because she's been doing it the last 3-4 times, and it's starting to be her sort of thing as a heel to get sort of cheap victories. And this is a great way to sort of show that she's getting cheap victories, but no one is helping her at the same time. It just makes the heel character stronger. And I'm, for one, a massive fan of Becky Lynch as a heel at the moment. And obviously we're going to talk about her more later, but she's done a really good job in sort of, since she's returned. The heat, I loved her heat in Dublin, Ireland. I know a lot of people were a bit upset about the promo in Birmingham with Ozzy Osbourne, but I think she done a great job as a character to sort of make her get more heat, and she continues to do it. Nikki Bella held her own in the ring, but you can tell that there's a big difference and a big gap from when she was a diva to now, and you got to give her credit for sort of her promo and tying it up. But yeah, Becky Lynch continues just to be really, really good, and I'm really impressed with her, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen next with her, especially with the events that happened towards the later end of Clash in Paris. We then had the match between Sheamus and Rusev, and out of all the predictions, this is the one I'm most proud of. Very happy that, not happy, but I'm very proud that I got this one right. I did say that Rusev was going to win the match, and he did. He won the match. This was an unbelievable brawl, a great sort of display between the two of them, some awesome spots. You had the sort of spot where Sheamus got into the box or the bar and his head hit the thing, or the back of the corner of the bar, if that makes sense. We also had sort of the spot from the top of the barrels where Sheamus hit the white noise through 2 tables. We had the sort of the near fall kick out from the bro kick, that's where most people thought it was done, and Rusev kicked out. We had the hit to the shillelagh at the back of the head, and that got kicked out of. We had different 10 beats. It was just a massive brawl, and Sheamus always puts out bangers like this. It's great that we're talking about Sheamus twice on one episode. I think he might be, from main event to PLE, the first person we actually speak about in a show. So Sheamus gets that cake. But again, every match that involves Sheamus is just a fight, and that's exactly what this was. These two getting a fight, ending their sort of feud and their long history. And again, it was really impressive that they were able to build this up to get onto this PLE. And it ended with Rusev hitting the accolade, or performing the accolade with the shillelagh in Sheamus's mouth. And it was the second time that Sheamus has ever tapped out, which was quite an impressive stat. I thought if Rusev was going to win the match, he was going to use the accolade, but it would have forced Sheamus to pass out. But I like the way they used the shillelagh here. And again, Rusev was deserving of the victory. Again, he was new. He's been new to WWE. If they're going to bring someone back, it wouldn't make sense for Sheamus to win here. I know Sheamus is still a big superstar, but I think at the moment he's sort of past his main prime, and I don't see him pushing for world titles. I'm not saying that Rusev will either, but he's got a better chance, especially since he's made his comeback to WWE, and he also has his key motive as well. So it's hard for just Sheamus to just stop that. It ends their feud, and Rusev will now move on to bigger things. And I think an interesting one would be seeing Rusev and Gunther. I know that Gunther is a heel, but it would just be cool to see sort of those two just go at it. 2 European wrestlers just go at it, 2 brutes as well. I don't know how they'd do it, but that's something that I could see Rusev doing, or else maybe they push him into Intercontinental champion sort of talks. But with Dom Mysterio there, I kind of doubt that happens. And I think with Sheamus, he continues to find a way to put bangers after bangers, and I think he's just going to be fine. He's well loved by everyone, and I don't think it taints his career or taints where he is at the moment. So look out for those two. See where Rusev kind of gets feuds with. I don't know at the moment, but I think Gunther is the one that sort of attracts me the most in what I think could be pretty cool. We then get the match between John Cena and Logan Paul. Unbelievable match. Got to give credit to Logan Paul here. He far exceeded my expectations. The only thing that I'll sort of criticize is that he kicked out of a lot of moves. But again, especially AA's, but again, was a fantastic match there. My probably favorite moment was when John Cena hit the Styles Clash on Logan Paul. I didn't expect that. He also hit the Code Red, which was quite nice, but I was a big fan of that Styles Clash. And that might insinuate that he will take on AJ Styles towards the latter stage of his run. So expect that we see them two go at it against each other. I think doing that Styles Clash would have teased that for sure. But John Cena getting the victory here, and I predicted this, makes sense. Sorry, I don't mean to be arrogant when it came to that. It just came out. But he gets the victory here. And yeah, the reason why he won was because obviously he's going to go up against Brock Lesnar. And I think that will happen at WrestlePalooza. I don't know when Brock Lesnar will come back, but he's scheduled to be at one of the SmackDown shows. Doesn't seem like he's going to be on Raw, which is good. They're keeping the brand split consistent. But they will go at it at WrestlePalooza, I hope. And I think that will be a very exciting match, especially given their history and given Brock Lesnar is coming back too. But again, John Cena getting the victory here. At no sort of, same with Bronson Reed, same with sort of Sheamus, it won't affect Logan Paul whatsoever. I think he pulled out an incredible match. I just don't know what they're going to do with him. Maybe he takes on Sami Zayn for the US title and he gets that back, because I'll touch on actually Sami Zayn. I'm very surprised they took the title off Solo so quick. I think Solo was doing a great job. So maybe they get Logan Paul and Sami Zayn, and eventually Logan Paul will become US champion again, because I do think Sami Zayn is primed to be world champion, and they're testing the waters with him holding the US belt. But again, so many storylines, so many things that we don't know what's going to happen, and that's what I love about WWE. We'll be able to see what the next feud is moving forward. So yeah, look out for that. Logan Paul will be just fine. And again, Sami Zayn doesn't get on Clash in Paris, but him winning the title was a major surprise there. We then get the main event where we have Seth Rollins before and backstage saying that he knows how to win main events at WrestleMania. People forget that he can do stuff on his own, and that leads to the transition into the entrances and the Fatal 4-Way match here. We start with Jey Uso super kicking CM Punk. I really like that spot. And the match was really good. They all obviously had their moments to almost win it, but you never really thought that was going to happen. Unfortunately, the way that I was viewing it was like how Jey Uso was going to win the match because of what I saw at the start, which kind of ruined my experience. But the right thing happened. We had CM Punk and Seth Rollins going into the ring, and we had CM Punk hitting the go to sleep twice. And as he was about to win, we see a masked character come in and perform the low blow on CM Punk. And it was indeed Becky Lynch, which is Seth Rollins' real life wife. And yeah, Seth Rollins gets the victory here. So they did a great job in sort of not, and I thought Jey Uso would have ate the pin here, but adding this sort of element protected LA Knight, protected Jey Uso, and it also protected CM Punk, because obviously he was the one that got interfered on. But this is great. We have Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins' real-time relationship coming involved into storyline, which made the most sense, especially considering that the vision wasn't there, and the only way that Seth Rollins was going to get help was realistically through through his wife, and she happens to also be a pretty big heel at the moment. So they might be the heel happy couple at the moment, and it might be Paul Heyman's first man well, actually woman, but obviously they call him the man, and I feel as though Paul Heyman will basically say Becky Lynch is a Paul Heyman man. I know, weird, but that's probably what they will do. I like the idea of that happening, and I think they'll be addressed on Monday Night Raw. So there's not really much I can say for what will happen and predict, but I think that moving forward, they've brought in Becky Lynch to the vision, to the faction, and it's great that, and I think every faction should have a woman superstar. It was great when we had it with the Judgment Day. I think with Rhea Ripley, elevated her. Not saying that Becky Lynch needs to be elevated anymore, but it's just always better when you see this. You also see it with the Wyatt Six, with Nikki Cross too, and even DIY with Candice LeRae, if you want to go through the list of in-depth other superstars. Every faction or every group sort of has a woman involved, and I think it's great to have the man involved in Becky Lynch in this, and I think they'll open the show tomorrow, and they'll both come out together or separately with their entrances. And I think Becky Lynch will pull out an incredible promo as she's been doing. And really big fan of her new theme song as well. So much better than her old one. And obviously her being a heel, it just fits her character perfectly. And yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the main event / Clash in Paris review. At the end of the month, we'll have WrestlePalooza, ESPN debut of the PLE. And we'll be back to main event sort of proceedings with some clips from Raw, clips from SmackDown, and the main event matches as well. But again, it's been your boy Daniel. Thank you so much for listening again. And I will catch you guys next week. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show. Or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.